Hello, everyone, and welcome back to LeagueWatch, the show where we talk about everything hockey. Today, we have a whole bunch to go over, including reviewing our early season division predictions, the NHL trades last week, as well as the upcoming Olympics. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it.
Tune in to CMRU Radio. Student-made shows with enthusiastic hosts.
Playing a huge selection of genres for every music lover in your life.
All music, all week, all day long.
CMRU.ca, by students, for you.
Alrighty, so jumping straight into this here, we have our Pacific Division predictions here. Do you wanna start us off here, Jack?
Yeah, sure. So I guess you just want me to read through them kind of sort of thing here?
Yeah, sure. And then I can pull up the actual division
so
standings as well, so we can compare. So why don't you start going last to first, who you predicted?
Sure, yeah, okay. So this was obviously made start of the season.
Yeah, it was.
So
It was our third show or whatever of last semester. So
this hasn't aged. Actually, looking at it right now before I say anything, it doesn't look like there's definitely a few outliers.
yeah, for sure.
Kind of in the mid. But anyway, okay, so at the bottom, I had San Jose, and obviously that's not looking the greatest right now. They're definitely doing a bit better than I expected. So San Jose last, not the greatest.
Yeah.
But obviously now we know the Canucks are there, but we'll get to them in a second. And
Yeah,
then
for
in
sure.
second last, I have Calgary. And I think Calgary still is second last, no?
Yeah, no, we are.
Yeah,
We're in
okay.
seventh.
So far that's looking good. And then I had LA there. What was that? Sixth.
Yeah, once again, you got that one
Is that
on
one?
point so far. They are
Okay,
actually
nice.
since sixth right now, too.
Okay, and then I had Seattle there. Is that correct?
Seattle, no. So you put Seattle fifth. They're currently fourth. San Jose is
okay.
currently fifth.
Okay.
They're tied on points, though, so
And then
you
this
could say
is-
tied fifth.
This is probably my worst one though. I have Vancouver at fourth, and they're currently last in the Pacific
and
10,
dead last. Yeah,
they're-
they're 8 points behind Calgary right
no,
now.
yeah, I saw last night. I was just, or maybe it was a couple nights ago. I was just looking at the standings because I was assuming I knew they were last, and I knew we were fourth last or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize they have a 10-point gap, or maybe maybe not now, but they had a 10-point gap on the second last team.
Yeah.
So they're kind of running away with it. So obviously that hasn't looked the greatest. But then I have Anaheim third. I'm still standing by that. I think they've fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. They are third right now.
Okay, they're still third.
but they're Seattle and San Jose are hot on their heels.
Yeah.
That's pretty tight. They're only 2 points up.
So that's not too bad. And I have Edmonton and Vegas, which I think are the 1 and 2.
Yep,
and
they
that
are.
wasn't too hard to guess. That was
Yeah,
pretty
no.
easy.
Yeah, no. So overall, I would say minus the Vancouver pick, you've done pretty well with the Pacific.
Yeah, no, that was actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Other than the Vancouver, but
Yeah, already. Mine are going to be a little bit wonky here for the Pacific. So in last, I put Calgary.
I still don't hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, it could still happen technically, but it's gonna be hard to catch Vancouver at this point.
yeah. So that's not the worst pick. In seventh, I have San Jose. It's okay. Could be
Yeah.
better. Sixth, I have Anaheim. They're
Yeah.
currently third, so that one's not great. Fifth, I have Vancouver. That's not great. Fourth, I have the Kings. It's okay, but still not great. I have Seattle third. They're fourth, so that one's not bad. And then Edmonton and Vegas I've gotten.
Yeah.
So overall, I would say you've done a lot better than I have, at least with the Pacific.
Yeah, I think overall though Pacific we did pretty well. I
Yeah,
think some of the
no.
other divisions we're gonna go over are maybe a lot worse.
Yeah, no, I was looking at that when I was putting all of our predictions into
I think the
our
Atlantic
doc
was
here.
pretty bad.
The Atlantic and the Metro are probably going to
Yeah.
be the worst, I would guess.
Yeah. Oh, and no spoilers, but I'm looking at my Central right now, and that's
yeah, both of our Centrals are quite interesting. But kind of going back to the Pacific here. So, what would you kind of change with your predictions now that we're?
yeah.
We're not. I don't know exactly if we're halfway through the season or not.
I think
but
we're more
pretty
than
close.
halfway.
Yeah,
I
we're pretty
think
close if we're not already past it. So, what would you kind of change up there with your predictions if you could change them right now?
So I would probably I'd move San Jose up for sure.
Yeah.
I would obviously move San Jose, and then I'd probably just move Vancouver down to last. I'd honestly probably only switch my San Jose and Vancouver slots, and I think
Yeah.
I'd leave everything else everything else the same.
Yeah.
Because I was just I didn't really expect San Jose to have this much of a like next step season, and I didn't expect Vancouver to fall off this much.
Yeah.
So I would probably just switch those 2 spots, and everything else I think could kind of stay the same for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I think for mine, I would, of course, move Vancouver all the way to the bottom
Yeah.
and then put Calgary in 7th for sure. I think we're going to be stuck there for the rest of the
I
season,
think we
unfortunately.
are, yeah.
And then just kind of looking off the active standings right now, I gotta say that the Sharks are going to fall to 6th, I think. So I would put them where I currently have Anaheim right now.
Okay.
I'd bump Anaheim up to probably where they are right now to 3rd, and then put the Kings 5th and Seattle where they are currently right now in 4th.
Yeah.
I think so. No like other major changes other than the Vancouver one, I would say. But still changing up pretty much almost every single pick minus a couple.
I'm definitely a little bit higher on San Jose, I think, than most. Like, I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs.
No.
If I'm being honest, I think both of the wild cards are probably gonna go to the Central just because Central is like so
deep. The Central's so stacked.
But I think they're gonna be there like right till the end, like 4th probably, and like I think they're just gonna miss out, but I think they'll have like a pretty exciting season. It has been exciting for them, so
yeah, for sure. So moving on to our Central Division predictions. You want to go bottom to top again?
Yeah, sure. So the bottom is like not too bad. I'm starting off with St. Louis, and I think they actually are last right now in the Central.
They are.
So I predicted that quite well, and then I have Nashville there at 7th.
Yeah.
I don't think I think they're kind of in the middle, no? Like they're like 4th or 5th.
Nashville's
right
5th right now, 50 points. They're 6 points behind Utah in 4th.
Yeah. So if we did this like because I know for a while they were like 3rd last in the league, so it wasn't like too bad. But obviously, I think they might still fall down, and I wouldn't even change that.
Yeah.
But then there, I have Chicago next.
Yeah.
At 6th there, and I think they are actually 6th. So
they are.
That's not too bad. Not too bad. And then I have Mini here. This one's obviously.
Yeah, this is of course before pre-Hughes trade and all that hype and whatnot. So
and it's only getting worse as we go up, unfortunately. But yeah, so I have Minnesota there. I'd obviously bump them up, and then Utah I had at 4th, which I don't mind. I think they are 4th actually right now. I'd probably keep them in that range.
Yeah.
And I Colorado 3rd, and then Dallas 2nd, and then yikes. I have the Winnipeg Jets winning the division. And I don't think you can blame me, like, preseason.
No, you really
thinking,
can't.
Like, the team was good, and, like, I don't think anyone could have predicted this fall off, so.
No, like, you know, of course they won the President's Trophy last year.
Yeah.
And then a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, they were the worst team in the league, or the second worst team in the league. So I don't think anyone really saw this coming. I don't really know if there's an explanation of why this has really happened, because other than shipping off, you know, Iafallo and whoever else they did, no huge pieces or anything. Like, they haven't really done much.
I think because Hellebuck went down.
He did, but that was only for like 4.5 weeks, though.
I think it was just that month, though, that kind of derailed
their
season,
maybe.
I think, because I remember before he got injured, they were doing pretty solid. Like, I remember Calgary had played them, like, quite a few times at the start of the season. We lost both matchups.
Right.
But then, that Hellebuck injury kind of derailed them. And then they've been, like, a bit better recently. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to get out of, like, the bottom 6 of the league.
Yeah, for sure. I could definitely see that. For sure. So for my Central Division predictions, in last I had Nashville.
I mean, not too bad. Like,
not terrible. I mean, judging off of the actual standing position, it's not great. But if you look at the points, it's really not bad. They're only 4 points ahead of St. Louis, who's last.
Now, so.
I had Chicago in 7th. I mean, they're only 1 point in front of Winnipeg and St. Louis, who are tied for 8th and 7th there. So not terrible, I don't think. Now, this one was bad. 6th, I had Minnesota. So that one has gone straight down the drain. Once again, of course, these were pre-Hughes trade and all that hype around Minnesota and before they started winning almost every single game. So that one didn't do too well, nor did the next one. I have St. Louis up there in, I want to say that's 5th. 4th, I had Dallas. 3rd, I had Utah. Not terrible.
Yeah.
Not a terrible pick. They're currently in 4th. In second, I had Colorado.
And then
Not terrible. And then, of course, the
same,
Winnipeg Jets
yeah.
in first, who are currently tied for last.
Yeah.
So that one's gone straight down the drain. What would you change about your picks?
Okay, so I think I'd actually do quite a bit of shuffling here. I'd move Colorado up to 1. I'd probably do Colorado, Dallas, then Minnesota as my top 3. I'd keep Utah at 4 for sure. I think I would, and then I think I would move. I would keep St. Louis last. I would
Yeah.
keep Chicago where I have them at 6th. And then who would that? Oh, that would leave Winnipeg, I guess, for 7th. Or you know what I would do actually? I would probably put Chicago 7th,
Yeah.
and then I'd put the Jets like right above them there.
Yeah, for sure. I think for mine's a little bit interesting just because they are really all over the place. Of course, for last, I would probably put St. Louis there. I'll keep them down there, and then for 7th, I'll keep Chicago where they are, actually. So I'm not moving anything there.
Yeah.
For 6th, I will put Nashville there. So they were last in my prediction, so I bumped them up to 6th. And then who else do I have? Give me Winnipeg 5th.
Okay.
So they're dropping from 1st to 5th. They're on mine. 4th, I'll keep Utah.
Yeah.
3rd, I'm going to go Dallas. So literally just swapping my Utah and Dallas picks that I had originally. And then Minnesota 2nd and Colorado 1st.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's catching the Avalanche at this point.
No, I think they've basically solidified the President's Trophy. Like,
Yeah, they're 34, 5, and 9.
yeah, like that's insane. Like,
yeah.
how they've only lost 5 regulation games.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely fallen off a little bit here.
A little bit for sure.
At home, they've only lost 1 regulation game. They're
Crazy.
21 and 4. So pretty much all of their regulation losses have come on the road.
Yeah.
Their last 10, they haven't been great. They've been 5-3 and 2. So not
Yeah.
great.
But they still do have like a 12-point gap on Dallas, who's
They
second,
do.
which is just
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a monster gap at this point in the season. And realistically, they're going to be buyers again probably at the deadline,
for sure.
or coming up to the deadline, which we will talk about a little bit later. Okay, so
The Atlantic now?
Atlantic. This one will be. This is where it starts to get interesting.
This one, I don't even know if I got a single one correct so far, like legitimately. All right, well, I guess starting from 8, I have Boston at 8th, and they are currently not in 8th. Like, they're 5th right now.
Yeah, they're
looking at
5th.
So that's not looking too good. And then second last here, 7th, I have Buffalo.
Yeah.
And obviously Buffalo's gone on quite a run since we've made these predictions, so now they're sitting at 4th.
Yeah.
Then I had Florida here. This one's not too bad.
No, it's really not. They're in 7th right now.
Yeah, they're in
so.
7th, so I did kind of just have a feeling they're going to be lower. And then I have Ottawa here at 5th.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, like they're last right now, but looking at the like point gaps, it's not even that big of a gap. But
No, it's really not.
I still probably would move them down again. And then I have Tampa at 4.
Yeah.
They're leading right now. I have Detroit at 3. That one's not too bad. I have Toronto at 2. This one's not great. And I have Montreal at 1. And
Yeah.
so it wasn't good, but it wasn't like
It wasn't
atrocious.
that bad. Yeah. I think mine will be interesting. So last I had Buffalo. They're currently 4th. In 7th I had Boston. They're currently 5th. In 6th I had Tampa. So that one's really
Yeah.
bad. 5th I had Toronto. Not too bad. They're in 6th currently. 4th I had Florida. That one's not aged too well. 3rd I have Detroit. That one's been good. Ottawa in 2nd. They're currently last. And then 1st Montreal, of course, as well. So what would you change about yours?
Yeah, this one's difficult actually, just because it's such a close division. Like even
Yeah.
Ottawa, who's last right now, they still have a winning record. Like they have 23 wins and 19 losses.
Yeah.
So it's like, I still think I would probably keep Ottawa just at 8th, unfortunately, because their goaltending just seems to be such an issue.
Yeah.
So I'd probably do that. I'd do Ottawa. Then I don't know if I like the idea of Florida at 7th, but I also don't know if I think Toronto's necessarily going to fall off. So I think I might just have to, for the sake of it, I'm just going to say Toronto.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say Toronto 7th. I'm going to say Florida 6th. I'm going to keep that. And then I do think Buffalo is probably gonna fall a little bit, unfortunately,
Yeah.
to 5th. Then in 4th, I'll do Boston, and then I'll pretty much keep the same. I'll do Detroit, Montreal, and then Tampa.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure. I think for mine, for last place, I currently have Buffalo. I'm gonna change that to Ottawa, so they're going from 2 to
it's quite the
8.
fall off.
Yeah. So that one's pretty bad. In 7th, I got to go the same as you. I got to go Toronto. I could definitely see Florida picking it up a little bit.
Especially
think,
with Kachuk back, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think they got a big piece back there for sure, and I think he could be a guy who could help turn around their season. And also keep in mind as well, with the whole Eastern Conference, there's only one team that's under 500 right now, and that's the New York Rangers.
Yeah, no, literally.
So
the East is very strong.
yeah, currently the Ottawa Senators are last in the Atlantic, and they're 23, 19, and 7.
Like that would legitimately probably be like 5th place in the Pacific or something. Like
Yeah, well, let's
probably.
see. 23 would put them 4th. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Like
So.
the Pacific is just so, or just in general, like the West is pretty weak.
Yeah,
or there's
for
just
sure.
a lot of weaker teams there.
Yeah, no, yeah, the East has been really solid this year. So 6th, I gotta go Boston. I
Okay.
think they're gonna fall off a little bit. 5th, I gotta move up Florida. Or actually, sorry, I'm technically moving Florida down compared to my old predictions.
Okay.
But I think they'll catch up and get ahead of Boston. I'm gonna keep Buffalo 4th, so last to 4th
I like
for
that,
Buffalo. I don't see them catching the top 3 as of right now, or really continuing this hot streak. I could see them still winning a whole bunch of games, but not really continuing it. They'll be quite inconsistent, I think. In 3rd, I currently have Detroit. I'm gonna keep Detroit there. 2nd, give me Tampa. 1st, give me Montreal.
Nice.
I think Montreal will
Okay.
catch them. They are only 3 points back right now, so I think they'll definitely catch them.
Yeah. Tampa is always just so good too, hey? Like,
Yeah.
they never
Oh, yeah.
fall off. Like you could be like, oh, I think this year, they got an older core and like, no.
Yeah.
And even especially with Braden Point this year, he hasn't even been that good.
I know. Yeah.
like-
If you're looking at the Tampa team, other than Vasilevsky, there's really no reason for them to be this
Yeah,
good.
and I guess Kucherov's been doing Kucherov
Yes,
things all
definitely.
year. So
Yeah, but then realistically, you got a goalie and a defenseman who are really like superstar caliber.
yeah,
And like other than that, like I really don't know
yeah.
what else they have. Like I mean, I don't know.
I guess they don't age apparently. Like
Yeah, I guess. So moving on now to the Metropolitan
yeah.
Division. Who do you got?
This one's already looking like a little bit flipped upside down here.
Yeah.
So I'll start off here with 8. So I have Philly in 8th, and right now they're
Yeah.
4th.
Really?
I
Wow.
do think Philly's gonna fall off. So like when I make my changes, I still think I'm gonna have them like a little bit lower. But right now the Rangers are in last. But then I have the Islanders here at 7th, and they're currently 3rd.
Wow.
In the Metro,
Yeah,
which-
they've been good. I don't really know.
No one
once
expected
again-
this,
Well, yeah, no. Once again, it's just one of those teams. They got a goalie in Matthew Schaefer, and
Yeah.
I mean Barzell's been good, but that's it.
Especially like with them getting Schaefer, you kind of thought they'd maybe like tank a
Exactly.
little bit
Yeah, I
for
kind of
another
expect them to
year,
be bottom for a couple of years.
but I guess not. So
Yeah.
that didn't age too well. Then I have Pittsburgh here, and they're second in the Metro.
Yeah, I remember you getting flamed for that
Yes.
from Merrick.
Yeah, Merrick did not like that.
No, of course.
And I told him, I was still like, oh, I don't think, because they had a good start. I'm like, I don't think this is sustainable, and it
Yeah,
has
here
been,
I'll pull
so
up the comment right now.
I guess I got to eat my words in terms of,
Yeah,
in
I'm
terms
gonna
of
see if
I was
can
wrong,
find
Merrick.
it.
I'm sorry. I didn't. I was. I'm sorry. I offended your Pittsburgh Penguins there. But
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, you just said it was unsustainable.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
What did he said? Like, there's no way. Or what did he say?
He said, "Jack, what are we doing here?"
Oh, okay.
6th. But yeah, so
Okay. Yeah.
apparently we're both wrong.
I'll
on
take
that,
the
I
L.
guess.
I'll
Yeah.
take the L. Merrick, you're right. That's
Yeah.
his team, so he probably knows better. But
Yeah.
anyway, then I had here the Rangers at 5th. Not like so far, none of these picks have been good. Like this
Yeah.
is brutal. And then 4th, I have Columbus. They're 7th right now.
Yeah.
And I have Washington at 3. They're 6th. I did not realize they're that bad, actually. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I have Carolina at 2nd. That one's not too bad.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad
That
pick
one's
at all.
pretty good. But then I had the Devils here, which this has not aged well at all.
No, it really
unfortunately.
hasn't. They've not been
No.
great.
Yeah, and we'll get to that here when we do our changes, but
Yeah, for sure. So for my Metro Division predictions in 8th, I had Philly, which started the season. That was a great pick, I think.
oh yeah, honestly, like,
But they have somehow remembered how to play hockey.
but it's weird because I still like don't see them as like being like no way they stay 4th.
No, yeah,
Like,
I
no
don't
way the
see it either.
Devils.
Yeah,
Even
I don't see it
Columbus, I
either.
feel like could jump them. Like
Yeah, for sure. In 7th, I had the New York Rangers, who are currently last. So that one
was good,
aged
actually.
quite
That
well.
one was pretty good.
I think the main reason that I'd chosen to put them 7th would be that their guys are getting a little bit older. They're struggling a little bit now. New York has just kind of bounced around a little bit the last couple years,
sure,
and now
yeah.
their captain is JT Miller.
Yeah.
I think that was my main reason was JT Miller. So, and I'm not going to put that all on how much they're struggling right now. Of course, the Shesterkin's been out for a month and a half at least. So that's probably the root of their struggles is goaltending. Would be my best guess, but I'm not sure, to be completely honest. In 6th, I had the New York Islanders. This one has aged terribly. I did not think that Matthew Schaefer would be this good, and I apologize to him because I completely underestimated him.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah, once again, like I said before, there's really just no reason that I could pinpoint that how the Islanders have been this
Yeah.
good. Like, I personally don't get it.
There's
Like,
just
I don't see it.
It seems like this year there's been so many like random teams that have just been so good or have just fallen off.
Yeah, exactly. Like just
San Jose
out of
and
the
the
blue.
Islanders. Like
yeah, no one
Really?
would have predicted that
Yeah.
at all. So in 4th, I had the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, apologies to Merrick for that one. I didn't get flamed though for it, so I got
I
a
mean,
little
yours
bit better.
wasn't as bad. I mean,
No, I've done a little bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one place in front of where you put
Yeah.
them, but so it's not that much better, but I'll take it. So then in 4th, I had the Washington Capitals, which hasn't aged terribly. They're only 1 point out of 4th right now,
Yeah.
behind Philly. They're down in 6th though, tied with New Jersey. In 3rd, I had Columbus. This one has aged terribly again. They're down in 7th. And then New Jersey 2nd. Definitely not great, but not absolutely horrific. And then first Carolina, which
You
I
nailed
got
that
right.
one
That
so
might have been the
far.
first
Yeah.
one I've actually predicted correctly
Yeah.
so far today. So I will take the win. What are your changes?
okay, so I think starting from the bottom, I'm gonna put the Rangers there, who are currently last, just
Yeah.
because they're the only team, like you said, in the East that are under 500. So
Yeah.
I think it somewhat stays that way. There's probably gonna be some other teams that fall off once the deadline rolls around. Some people sell, but I'll keep the Rangers there at 8th.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna keep, or not keep, sorry. I'm gonna move, Philly down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move Philly down. I think they get leapfrogged.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Philly there, and then here at 6th. Now this is where it kind of gets challenging because
Yeah, it's all really tight around that area. Like it's all just a couple points separating them
I
from.
get because I wanna like part of me wants to say Columbus could somewhat bounce back, and I want to put
Yeah.
them higher, but Washington too hasn't been.
Yeah.
You know what? Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna say Washington 6th.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna say 5th. I'm gonna say Columbus. I'm gonna say they kind of step it up a little bit, just because I'm a fan of Columbus. And
Yeah, for sure.
I
same.
want them to succeed, so I'm just gonna try to manifest it. Columbus there at 5th,
Yeah.
and then 4th. I'll do New Jersey at 4th, and then actually, you know what? I'm gonna say the Islanders fall off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Islanders 4th, Devils 3rd, Penguins 2nd, and then Carolina 1.
Yeah. No, that's pretty. Those are pretty good, I would say overall.
Yeah.
For mine, I am gonna move the Rangers, or I'm gonna going to keep them last based off of the current standings. They're staying there. They're not going anywhere.
No.
Nothing is going right for that team. Of course, they've just announced they're entering a retool.
Yeah, a retool.
Like every other team
every
in the
other
NHL.
team.
So we'll talk about that, what that
Yeah.
means a little bit later, of course. And then as for 7th, I'm going to put Philly 7th. I'm
Yeah,
predicting a
no.
massive fall off
I
from the
just-
Philadelphia Flyers.
Because I think they started off pretty good, and then you started to see them sort of slip. Like the Islanders jumped them. I think for
Yeah.
a while they were legitimately second.
They were. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
they had a
so-
great start there, and
so
they
they're
started to slip a
starting-
little bit, picked it up a little bit again recently, but I don't see it with that team. They don't have a
That's
goalie.
what I mean. And
I
it's
mean,
like
other
Mitch
than-
Kov is not even performing.
No, he's not playing well, and I mean, I don't want to say they don't have a goalie because I mean they have Flames legend Dan Vladar,
Yeah.
but Samuel Erson's not been good.
Mm-mm.
I haven't seen anything from Vladar this year either, so I really don't know what's going on over there, but I don't see them sustaining that 4th place. I think they will drop down to 7th. As for 6th, I'm going to keep Washington there.
Okay.
For 5th, I am going to put Columbus there,
Mhm.
mainly just because I like them more than
Yeah.
Washington as a team. I quite like the Blue Jackets. And then 4th, I'll bump New Jersey up 1. They'll just jump Philly. That's that. And then, actually, you know what? 4th, New York Islanders. I'm bumping them down. I'm
Okay.
saying the Devils are going to turn it around. Of course,
That's what
Luke
I'm
Hughes is out
thinking,
right
yeah.
now. The Hughes brothers on the Devils just refuse to not be injured at the moment. But I'm going to guess that they're going to start to pick it up here. The Islanders could start to slip. I don't see them being sustainable again, like I've said so many times already in this show. But I could definitely see that. So the Devils will go up to 3rd. The Islanders will drop to 4th. Pittsburgh will be 2nd. Carolina will be 1st. So those two
Nice.
will stay the same, I think, for me.
Yeah. It'll be kind of interesting too. I think right now the league is like super close. I think you're
Yeah.
seeing like there's a lot of like we talked about in the Atlantic, like it's super close right now. Same thing even in the Metro, it's pretty close. And I think once we get closer to the deadline and some teams start to like legitimately sell, like I think you'll see the Rangers, we'll
Yes,
get
for
to
sure.
it, Panarin. Like the Flames are probably going to sell a little bit more. The Canucks have got a bit more to sell.
Yeah.
And you never know, like maybe the Islanders sort of softly sell, like they
Yeah.
sell maybe some of the older guys, and the Devils maybe get a little bit aggressive and they're like, you know what, screw it, let's just be buyers and maybe so there's stuff like that too that you can always like bring into your predictions. And
Yeah, definitely. And I just wanted to take a couple minutes here just because this has gone a little bit quicker than I expected, just to kind of talk about the New York Rangers and this kind of
Yes.
retool they're going into. And, I mean, what does this kind of mean? Like, of course, for newer hockey fans or people who are just listening who don't know anything
Yeah.
about hockey, a retool is essentially a different, nicer-looking word than a rebuild.
it's basically a way to like justify, like it's like a way to say, oh, we're gonna be bad. We don't want to be too bad.
Yeah,
Like,
but we're not going to be good. So don't
Yeah.
expect anything, essentially, which is an interesting thing to say, especially to come out and say that directly to your fans when that's where your money is, essentially. That's where your money is
Yeah.
coming from. It is a little bit interesting to see for sure.
I
but-
watched this video on the Rangers. It was a recent video talking about sort of like their downfall and whatever. And the guy in the video was talking about how back in, I want to say it was like 2018 or something, when they first went into like their rebuild. And
Oh,
were to,
yeah.
like,
No,
get
I think I saw
Lafreniere.
this video as
Yeah.
well.
And he was saying how like the Rangers had sent out a message saying we're gonna rebuild.
Yeah.
Like when does that ever happen nowadays? Like
You
I could
never see
never
it.
imagine Calgary being like, guys, we're gonna rebuild.
Yeah, no,
Like,
you just don't see that anymore. And I think it is an interesting one. And I'm going to use my marketing brain a little bit here as well, just from a marketing and sales standpoint. Like, you're essentially telling your all of your fans, oh, yeah, we're going to be bad.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was thinking too.
it's-
Like you can do it, but it is a bit interesting to say it to your fans, I guess. But it could also
Yeah.
maybe you could look at it as a way of them trying to like connect with their fans and
Yeah,
just be
maybe.
honest too. Like don't expect anything. But you're right. Like
Yeah, like I could definitely see that from a fan base standpoint, but from a marketing and sales standpoint, like I mean, if you're a bad team, your sales aren't going to be nearly as good as if you're making a playoff run or fighting for the
Exactly,
playoffs or
yeah.
whatever. That's just how it's always going to be, whether you say it or admit it or not.
yeah.
That's just how it's always going to be. But I think it's just a little bit different if you directly say, "Oh yeah, no, we're not making playoffs. We're not even going to be close." like it's essentially telling fans, oh yeah, don't bother spending money coming to our games.
Yeah.
That's what it says to me, at least.
Yeah, I know. It is like I see that perspective as well, and yeah, I think it's mostly that the team just wants to be honest, I think, with like their fans, which is fair too.
Yeah.
Like I would honestly love like if the Flames sent out a message one day saying like we're gonna rebuild, like we're not gonna be good. I think a lot of fans would genuinely respect that.
Yeah,
Like,
no, for
like
sure.
honestly, like obviously, yeah, like maybe it would kind of affect the, like you said, like ticket revenue and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But that would just be refreshing to hear. And like when
It
I was
would be,
watching
yeah.
that video, I was kind of like, that's interesting because like we haven't seen that really, like any team do that.
No, you don't really
Oh,
see
wow.
it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely good, just keeping it straight with your fans. Like,
Yeah.
we are struggling, but I just feel like, especially putting it out like in letter format on social media,
Mm-hmm.
like if they just said it in an interview or a press conference, whatever, I think that would still have
Yeah,
the same effect to how the fans feel about the team without directly affecting sales wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like, I think to hear someone from the Flames say, we are going into a rebuild in an interview, yeah, that would feel great. And it would honestly feel better than a letter, I think.
Yeah,
Like a written
no,
letter,
that's
at least
fair,
for
yeah.
me.
Especially like hearing it from like a voice. Like if
Yeah.
like Connor came on and said like, "Hey guys, like we're gonna go into a rebuild for a few years," like that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
It would just, I think like the point I'm trying to get across is it would just be nice to hear like legitimately hear those words come out of someone from the organization rather than like rebiggle whatever. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, for
but I
sure.
kind of want to go back a little bit to like the retool phase. I feel like
Yeah.
this is something that's a little bit new amongst like within like the NHL world at least.
Yeah.
Like I would say probably the last 5 years, we've seen a lot of teams say, okay, we're gonna retool. Like we're not rebuilding, we're retooling.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
what's your how do you feel about quote unquote retools?
I honestly just feel like it's a easier, lighter word than just rebuild, because it almost sounds like, you could take it a whole bunch of different ways. You could take it whereas it's just a different word for rebuild,
Yes.
like I do. But I think there's another way you could take it, whereas you could see, we're going to sell off a couple, one or two of our star players and then keep one, and then, be bad for a year or two, get a couple good picks in the draft, build around that, and then make a push instead of just fully rebuilding. Because for me, a rebuild is 4 or 5 years, generally.
Yeah.
But you could also take a retool as being 1 to 2, I think,
Yeah.
as well. So I think that could be interesting. It kind of goes back and forth. I think it depends on the perspective of, the fans and who's leading the team and whatnot. And, of course, I don't really know anything about the Rangers management or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That could mean a year or two. But for me, that means rebuild.
Yeah.
So
I think like I am not a big fan of the word retool. Like I think it's legitimately my least favorite word in the entire world because to me it's a way that organizations try to create a plan in order to be lazy, to try to rush being good again. Like when it seems
Yeah.
bad, like we're literally seeing it here with Calgary where they're like, they haven't really admitted they're rebuilding, but like everyone kind of knows they're rebuilding in a way. Like it's a very weird rebuild because they're almost like not accepting it, but they are going through the motions of a rebuild currently.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I think just with, I'm trying to think of like recent teams that I would say like have retooled, because to me a retool is not as harsh as a rebuild, like you said.
Yeah.
Like a rebuild is like you legitimately like sell like all of your valuable assets and you bought them out for like 2 to 3 years and you're probably not good for like 6-ish years.
Oh, yeah. No, for
Whereas like a
sure.
retool, you sell some of maybe your older guys, but then obviously maybe you already have some younger guys and then
Yeah.
you are only maybe like bottom 5 for like a couple years and then you're good in like 4 years.
Yeah,
So
I can see that.
I think Dallas is a good example. They kind of retooled like 2018.
Yeah.
Because 2017 they had that like crazy draft where they got like Heiskanen and Robertson.
Right, yeah.
All in the same draft. And the thing with that is that's great for them, obviously. It worked out great.
Mm-hmm.
But people need to keep in mind too, that season they still did pick very high.
Yeah,
Like
did.
they took Heiskanen 3rd overall.
Yeah.
Like you still when you're going into a whatever you want to call it, retool, rebuild, you still do need to bottom out. And yeah, that's kind of the point I want to get across. Like I think some teams think, oh, we can just, maybe we'll miss the playoffs, but like we can still, get a superstar at 16. It's like not really. Like
Yeah.
you got to be bottom 5, like pick top 3 at least once in your quote unquote retool or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, just kind of looking at other teams as well who are struggling. I mean, if you look at, the Pacific Division and whatnot, it's kind of roughly what we expected other than kind of Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see why Vancouver's struggling. And I mean, we talked about the Atlantic as well and kind of Winnipeg struggles, and it's hard to really pinpoint it other than that Hellebuck injury.
Yeah.
But there is one that I really did want to talk about as well that's in the, not in the Metro, oh no, they are in the Metro, the Ottawa Senators.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, don't listen to me. They're not in the Metro. They're in the Atlantic.
Yeah, they're in the Atlantic.
Going back and forth here. Because they, of course, did make the playoffs last year. They got eliminated in round one to, the Leafs.
Yeah,
but
and I mean, it was kind of to be expected. Like, they're a young team, first playoff experience for that sort of younger core. Like
for sure.
Kachuk, all those guys.
Yeah, so I think that was interesting. And I think we'd all kind of just expected them, not to go and win the division or win any major awards or anything like that as a team, but to go and at least make the playoffs again, be kind of that fourth or third.
Take the next step, right?
Yeah, and, maybe get through to round two or host or, get home ice advantage in a series. So that one's a little bit interesting. I just wanted to get your thoughts on if you kind of see any, kind of outstanding areas that they've really just kind of missed or have struggled in.
I think it's legitimately just the goaltending. Like, if you look, Allmark obviously took the leave of absence, and he wasn't good this season. He's obviously struggling with something mentally that's affecting his game. So that's obviously just terrible luck for the organization. Like, you can't plan for stuff like that, because last year he was great, and he is genuinely a great goaltender. He's really good. So that's just a really unfortunate situation for them. And then their backups, who I can't name right now, but I know have also been horrendous.
Yeah, no, they have not been good.
And I don't know if you've seen Jake Sanderson made some comments sort of taking shots at their goaltending. Cause
I did see that.
It gets to a point, man. It's the team overall is playing pretty well. Sanderson's having a good year. Stutzel's having a solid year.
Yeah.
All of these, core younger guys in the lineup are actually playing quite well.
Yeah, they are.
It's just they can't keep the puck out of their net. And I don't watch a lot of Sens games, and, maybe some of it is probably, some defensive breakdowns, but you got to get some saves.
Yeah, no, for sure.
To be a good team, you need saves.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm kind of going to back up that point as well, just with goaltending. You don't want to fully rely on your goaltenders to win you games, but you got to rely on them to give you a shot.
Yeah.
I think that is something, and I'm going to kind of go back to last year with the Calgary Flames as well, is that Dustin Wolf, the whole reason we were in that playoff, potentially in a playoff spot, in a playoff push, was Dustin Wolf.
Yeah.
Because no one else. We were one of the lowest scoring teams of the year, and the guy had a 919 save percentage or whatever. He faced the most shots. Our defense they played decent. They're our top defense, but once you get below kind of that second line, that third line last year was horrible for us.
No.
And so, of course, you don't want to fully rely on your goalies like what we kind of had to do last year to give us a shot, but at the playoffs. But if you're going to win any games, you got to have someone in net who can stop.
Exactly.
Ideally have a absolute minimum, I would say, of an 890.
Yeah, no.
Absolute minimum.
It's honestly, and it's you just need those big saves at times, because that's what wins teams games, right? Is you'll see, maybe they have a breakdown, they're up by one, but their goalie makes a phenomenal save, right? It's always that's what helps good teams also be good. Is you have your star players that put up points, but it's the goaltending as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of going back to your point about the Flames too, last season, obviously with Wolf.
Yeah.
It is a bittersweet season, because you think oh man, what a good season for him.
Yeah.
He's a Calder finalist, but then you think if he not necessarily played bad, but if the team did how they were supposed to do in the standings, we could probably be sitting here with a Michael Meese or a Anton
100%.
In our
100%.
prospect pool. So, but to be fair, we love Reshny too.
We do, yeah. So. No, Cole Reshny, he's second in NCAA scoring right now.
Yeah.
He's over at Michigan, right?
He's North Dakota.
North Dakota, right? Yeah,
He's killing it right now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's been phenomenal. And we kind of talked about him quite a bit on the last show as well in terms of World Juniors. But I saw him post the other day. There's 3 Flames prospects in the top 5 of NCAA points.
Yes.
It's incredible. we kind of have a sleeper prospect pool.
Oh,
I
we
think.
do.
Just mainly because we don't deploy them correctly once they actually get to Calgary is my issue. But like realistically, if you look at our prospect pool, you got Reshny, of course, leading that. If you don't count Parekh, who's not technically going to be a rookie or anything next year, you got Honzik as well, who's been playing NHL level, and he hasn't been great, but he's been decent. He's a solid center. He can win his faceoffs. We got Matt Gridden, who's been playing top line. He's not playing top line today, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But he has been playing top line for the last 2 games up there with Kadri and Coronado, I believe.
Yeah.
Or Kadri and Huberdeau. And Brustevich as well is another one we got to watch. And I think we just got a really, really solid bunch of guys kind of, not necessarily, your perfect ideal prospects, but, in their early 20s, 23, 20, probably max 23, 24 maybe, where you just got such a high ceiling with a lot of these guys and they're just not being utilized. So I would like to see what we could do with that in terms of what happens once we start shipping off players, because ideally, I think for me, as a Calgary Flames fan, I don't want current prospects. I want draft picks. I want draft capital right now, just because we have so many NHL prospects, or just like prospects in the AHL right now who deserve to get that jump, and I think it would help their development so much if they get that jump as well.
I mean, if you can get your hands on, let's say someone overpays for Coleman, and you can get your hands on like an A+ prospect.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Take that, but I get what you mean. Like, I would rather, for example, take like a 2nd-round pick over like a B- prospect.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just think because even with that draft capital, if the Flames want, if there's a guy they really like at the draft, you cluster some of the picks together to move up or something like that.
Yeah, you could move up.
So that is also something to think about. And also, I don't know if you mentioned him when you're naming some of our prospects, but I'm sure you've heard his name. Ethan Wittenbach.
Oh yeah,
has
of
been
course.
killing it.
He's been so good.
We haven't talked about him on the show yet, but he's playing in Quinnipiac University right now.
Yeah.
He's in the NCAA, and this guy's a freshman, like an 18-year-old freshman. He's a smaller guy, 5'10".
Yeah.
And we drafted him in the 5th round, like this past draft, 2025. And
it's a steal.
Right now, he has 33 points in 24 games. Like, I'm pretty sure he leads freshmen in points. Like, this guy might be something.
Yeah.
Like
he could be really, really solid if he's utilized correctly. Because once again, kind of going back to this topic of how we utilize our prospects, he needs to be utilized correctly. Otherwise, I don't see the future.
I don't want to put this hype on the kid, and especially because this name is such a coveted name in the city. But this is a little bit. This is giving me a little bit of Goudreau kind of vibe.
Yeah. No. Definitely.
Just with how. Because we drafted Goudreau, and obviously in his draft year, he was point per game or something, and we drafted him late. It was the 4th round, smaller winger, and then his draft +1, he popped off for what was it? Let me check here. I think 51 points in 35 games.
Yeah, no, he was great. And it's just very similar. Yeah, I can totally see what you mean. Very similar.
Just where he comes out of nowhere,
build
smaller guy just comes out of nowhere, putting up monster points.
Yeah, and you got he's a winger. He's 5'10". He's not a big guy.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to some of the other guys, especially looking at Klapka and them, of course, but a lot of the big guys who will chuck you around, and kind of what you look at in the draft when you're considering between different wingers, generally you're going to take the bigger guy as long as he's not huge. So I think he could be very similar to Gaudreau in that way.
I want to fix my statement quickly. So Gaudreau, when we drafted him in 2011, he had 72 points in 60 games in the USHL, and then he went to Boston College.
Yeah.
And in his draft +1, he had 44 points in 44 games. So he's point per game. And obviously Ethan's playing in because I'm pretty sure Boston colleges is Big Ten, or at least
I'm
pretty sure they're Big Ten, and I know Quinnipiac's not a Big Ten school, so the competition isn't as elite as what Gaudreau is playing against.
Yeah,
but I think it's just it's a good point to mention. Calgary always seems to do well with these smaller guys that they draft, Gaudreau, and then Wolf obviously is probably
Well,
the
yeah.
last like smaller guy that we've really panned out. So this guy could for sure be something.
Yeah, no, definitely. I 100% agree with that. Alrighty. So we are going to transition now into our music spotlight. And kind of like I had mentioned last week, while I was introducing the so-called, or I don't want to say so-called, but quote, new and improved music spotlight system for this semester's show with 2 songs. We'll be switching it up a little bit from last week. So I split up this show into 3 different sections. So we just did that first section, and then we're going to play a song here, and then we're going to talk about another section, we're going to play a song, and then we're going to close it out with another section. So there'll be 2 songs. They're not going to be back-to-back, but that one, the next song will be in a little bit, probably in another half an hour or 45 minutes or something like that. But for this first song, I would like to dedicate this one to my mom since it is her birthday.
Nice.
So happy birthday, Mom. This is one of your favorites and an absolute classic in music history, and a regular sing-along song at NHL games. It's Living on a Prayer by the one and only Bon Jovi right here on CMRU.ca. We'll be right back. Alrighty, we are now back. So that was Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi right here on CMRU.ca. So we're going to talk about a couple of the trades that just happened, as well as some rumors that have been swirling around, and kind of what to expect for, big names moving from the Pacific Division, as well as just kind of around the league as well. So the first one, of course, Anderson to Vegas.
Big one for us
Yeah.
here, right? Big Calgary guys. So
Yeah, for sure.
obviously, I want to start with my initial reaction. I remember,
Mhm.
I think both of our initial reactions were
Yeah.
like pretty much the same. Like we were a bit underwhelmed, I think, and I think
Yeah.
a part of it came from some of the other offers we heard, like the Boston offer.
Yeah.
Was really intriguing because they had Matt Poitras, who's like a pretty nice
Yeah,
younger
no.
centerman. I think that
For
could
sure.
potentially be a good third line center. And then they had Mason Lohrei, who's like, I think like a 24-year-old defenseman or something
Yeah.
like that. And then they had Toronto's first,
Yeah.
which, as we know, Toronto right now is like bottom 15 in the league-ish. So getting their first rounder would have been insane for 2027. So I remember we heard that. And then there's another offer from Detroit that was like
Detroit and Dallas.
their first, and Nate Danielson, who's another prospect that I really
Yeah.
like. So when you're hearing those and you're kind of hearing like higher quality first round picks, and you're hearing nice like former first round picks, like high quality prospects, and then you end up with this offer, you can kind of see like, okay, like maybe this isn't the greatest.
Yeah.
But obviously now looking back and kind of hearing the story of it, I'm sure you've heard like Rass wasn't going to sign with anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So that
cut off Boston completely.
cut off like basically every team.
Yeah, because Boston was trading, and if they were going to trade, they were striking that deal. They had a whole contract written up and everything. Yeah. So that is something to note as well with the whole Boston trade. Yeah, it probably would have been better than what we got from Vegas, but he wasn't signing. So that also tanked the draft capital, or not the draft capital, the trade value.
Like, because there's like, I know there's like extension talks going on with Rass. Like he was like talking to teams, like or his agent was. I think his agent was talking to Boston and Detroit and, like you said, I think Dallas about extensions. And then I remember, Rasmus basically said, you know what, I'm not going to sign with anyone right now.
Yeah.
So whoever you trade me to, I'm not signing an extension with right now. So, and like you said, that cut out a bunch of teams, and some of the offers really diminished in quality. And that kind of left Vegas with the best offer, which was here White Cloud. I don't know how to say this. Weeb. Who is a former, he was a 7th round pick, I think, a couple years ago. He's playing with Cole Reshny, though, at North Dakota.
He is,
so that's cool. And then we get their first round pick this year. Or no, not this year. Sorry, we have their first already this year. Their pick next year, the 2027 first. And then
the conditional 2027 second round pick,
which becomes a first in 2028 if
they win the cup this year.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we're Vegas Golden Knights fans.
It is,
so.
but we're in a weird spot though too, because we have their 2026 first as well.
Yeah.
So if they win the cup this year, that means that first is going to be
32nd. Yeah, that's
so
a good point.
It's weird, but like at the same time, we could have their first for the next 3 years, which would be insane. But looking at it now, especially you have to think about it in terms of, okay, this is a rental. Like, he hasn't extended with them. Technically, he could walk at the end of this year if he wants.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So obviously, like, there is a chance he resigns, and I'd say the odds are it's pretty high. I'd say it's probably like 70-30 he resigns right now.
Yeah.
But there is that slight what if he doesn't sign it. If he doesn't resign, this is a very good package for Calgary to get back.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, 'cause, I think there is a very high chance he will stay in Vegas, especially if they do well. I think Vegas is a team he could fit in well on. And then, potentially even lead that team in the future once, Mark Stone and them are gone and retired. So I think it will be interesting to see. I think he will extend, if I'm being completely honest, but that won't happen until the summer.
I do too, but I'm kind of hoping he doesn't resign just so that
Yeah.
we're like, yes, like this is great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also we can talk about too the possibility of us flipping White Cloud. Obviously that was kind of my first thought when we first got him, because my issue was my biggest issue with the deal was the fact that we were getting an older right shot defensive back in White
for
Cloud,
sure.
because the big thing with me and I think a lot of fans, including yourself, wanting to trade Raz was so we opened up spots for like Brustevich to step into the top four, Perek to step into the top four. That was kind of the idea of trading Rasmus, so we could make room for these younger guys, and obviously bringing back another right shot that didn't do that right now. But if we do go down the route of flipping White Cloud at the deadline, potentially this year for, who knows, maybe a second and a third, like a contender
that'll be
could give us
great.
a second and a third for White Cloud at the deadline,
Yeah.
then that's looking like a great return. You're getting 2 seconds, a third, a first, and a prospect for Rasmus, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I just pulled up the mock defensive pairings here on Daily Faceoff from the last game. Just to put this into perspective, so line 1 was Uyghur Kuznetsov, of course, with Perek down in the AHL right now in his conditioning stint.
Yeah.
He's down there, so Kuznetsov has actually taken up the slack on the first line. So I like that.
No, yeah, he's a good young. We haven't really talked about him, but he's good and he's young. He's a big body, so
Yeah, no, I think he'll be one we'll definitely want to have on the team for kind of the rest of the year.
definitely a part
I'd
of the
say.
future for sure.
Yeah. Second line is right D is White Cloud and Kevin Ball. Essentially, they've just chucked White Cloud in where Anderson was, essentially. I think those two could play well together while White Cloud's here, but just not long term.
Yeah.
And then third line is Brustevich and Hanley.
Yeah.
So we are playing Brustevich and Kuznetsov, but I think, it would be interesting to get another defense prospect up there.
Yes.
I think if we do flip White Cloud, I don't really want another like actual current player back.
I don't think we would get one either.
No, unless it's a right shot defenseman prospect who we can instantly play.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that.
I think I'd be okay with just picks, because I think what you do is you flip White Cloud to a contender and then you immediately slot Perek in with Ball.
Yeah,
on
for
that
sure.
second pair, and you let Perek actually play some top 4 minutes. That's kind of like the ideal situation, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely bring Perek back and not playing him third line for the rest of the year will be very important, I think.
We can maybe talk about it like now, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we kind of talked about it last show too, but it is such like a big talking point about like Perek and like how he's been developed. And I think we need to like understand how he's a very unique defenseman. He's a rover.
Yeah,
like we
for
saw
sure.
it in the World Juniors. Like when you have him out there, he's essentially a fourth forward.
Yeah,
and
no,
he's
100%.
not the type of guy that you play third pair. Like, he's just not.
No.
That's not his play style, and you can't make him play like that. Otherwise, you're gonna ruin what he's special, and that is offense. So you need to give him those top 4 like reps, and you need to let him play on the power play. You need to let him make mistakes, because he's gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to live with that. Even in his prime, he's probably gonna have some boneheaded turnovers, but that's just who he is. But he's probably going to make up for it with some crazy offensive plays like we saw in the World Juniors. So
yeah, for sure. And just another prospects update as well for the Flames. We do have Gridden projected top line for tonight's game,
which is awesome.
According to this, which is great because he's probably my favorite Flames prospect right now, not including Perek.
I've been like, over the past like couple weeks here, I've been a lot more, like I'd say since after the World Juniors, I've been a lot more pleased with how Calgary's been deploying some of their younger guys.
Same.
Like you said, like obviously they called up Kuznetsov, like I think right before the break, and now he's playing top pair. They called up Brustevich, I think, right before the break, and I think he's the type of player that you can play third pair right now. Like his play style kind of fits that sort of role.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like that. And then obviously, like you said, Gridden playing up there, and then Zeri now is getting some top 6.
Well, yeah,
reps
no,
too.
Zeri's playing top line with Gridden and Kadri,
Yeah.
so.
So they're definitely like deploying some of their guys better. It's just if they can get Perek when they get him back up, and I think the conditioning stint's allowed to be 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it'll probably be decently quick here. It'll probably be
So,
another week max.
In another week, he'll be back in the NHL, and I'm just really hoping that they play him top 4. Like, you got to get him in there and just let
you
him
have
play.
to. Yeah, 100%. I think playing him with Ball will be good too, because Ball's
a very steady big guy.
he is. Yeah, no, he can take up that slack on defense for sure, where Perek will be missing it. And I think it's going to be the exact same role he was playing when he was playing with Anderson too.
Yeah.
Because Anderson is an offensive defenseman. That is
Yeah.
his build. He can play defense okay. He makes a lot of mistakes, but when he's good at defense, he can be good. But Ball is on that line, was playing with Anderson to bring in that extra defensive bit that Anderson was missing. So I think, in a way, Anderson and Perek are quite similar, just because they are offensive defensemen, and they'll sit very well with Ball, I think. So, yeah.
What would you give, like, the trade grades for each team?
What are we rating this out of? Are we just rating it out of 10?
Well, let's just do, like, A.
Oh,
plus,
yeah,
like,
no,
that
I
kind
see
of
what you
thing.
mean. I would say overall trade for us, I would say probably a B+.
That's what I was going to say, too. I think B+ is pretty solid.
Yeah, and as for Vegas, I would say probably an A-.
Yeah.
As of right now.
I think right now I'm going to say, for Calgary, I'm going to say B+. And if Rasmus walks, I'm going to say it's an A return.
Yeah.
And for Vegas, I'm going to say it's probably a B+. I'm going to say B+ too right now. But if they extend them, I think A.
Yeah, for sure. I could definitely see that being bumped for me, at least with Vegas, if he does extend. So that's kind of our initial thoughts on that Raz trade. Of course, I'm going to tell a bit of a story here just because
sure.
we have the time. I was literally, because we've been talking about this, I think the night before, we're like, we just want this trade to get done. Like,
and
I was so sick of it. I had all the graphics ready for the Instagram for a couple days now that he was going to Boston.